Hello, and welcome back to Your Friendly Neighborhood, a podcast aimed at introducing you to and telling you the stories of the movers, the makers, and the shakers, the business owners, the creators, and the innovators of your small town. We are officially sitting here and recording our very first full episode. How cool! As a reminder, my name is Darcy Seven from the Cheesy Pear, and today we have with us our very first guest, Jordan, your friendly neighborhood soap maker. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited. I've never done anything like this before. So.
Yeah, it is very exciting.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. I feel like soap maker, while fabulous and cool, might actually be a little bit limiting of a title, right?
Yes. There's so much more to just soap. I kind of create like head to toe products.
Okay.
Some self-care things. But yeah, it's not just soap.
Okay. So first, business name.
Old Country Bath and Body.
Nickname Old Country Bab.
Yep. On
that's
Instagram.
what people know you as, I guess. Yeah.
I figured Bab was like just short form for Bath and Body. It's a lot to write out.
It is.
But yes, so I'm in a little town, Verona.
Okay.
If you are a Kingston person, you may or may not know. It's not a big population, but it's country living and I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Old Country Bab. What kind of products do you do? Head to toe, yes, but like what?
Shampoo, conditioner. I have products for kids like bath bombs because I love them. I also make lotions and products for men like beard oils.
Okay.
Yeah, so just like literally head to toe.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you get into it?
So I feel like a lot of moms who start small businesses are usually during mat leave.
I think that's very
right.
true.
So
Yeah.
that's how mine started.
Okay. And you have two boys?
2 boys. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And so when I was on mat leave with my second, it was actually around this time of year. I thought, you know what? I'm going to create some gifts for my family. And I just
Okay.
started dabbling with making bath salts and lip balms and just sort of trying to have like that homemade
Yeah.
gift,
I love
right?
that,
Like
yeah.
I love doing that. So I started dabbling in it and threw a few posts on Facebook. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, like, can I buy those? Like, those are great. So I thought like, I kind of have something going on here.
Yeah. So sort of like
And-
an accidental business.
Right? Yes,
Yeah.
it was. And I honestly didn't think it was going to go anywhere.
Right.
I just thought like, I'll do this for fun. After mat leave, I'll go back to work and forget about it.
Right.
That was not the case.
Okay.
So it was actually January 1st, 2017.
Okay.
My son was down for a nap and I thought maybe I'll register for business. Like if it goes somewhere,
Okay.
I'm going to be prepared.
Yeah.
And it was the best choice I ever made because now I'm still doing it.
So was it right then that you never went back to your old job?
So my 9 to 5, I still worked
Okay.
up until COVID.
Oh, okay.
Right. So COVID hit, I got laid off, and then all of a sudden my business and my website just started, like I was getting orders every day, which
Wow.
I might get like a couple of orders a week, but
Right.
this was like daily they were coming in and I was so busy.
And during COVID.
During COVID, yeah, it was just like everybody had money to spend and they wanted to stay at home and,
Yeah.
so that's sort of where it really, really started for me.
Cool.
And after a few months when things were starting to open up,
Mm-hmm.
my boss asked me like, hey, are you ready to come back to work? And I said, no.
What was it you did before?
I used to work for Beachcomber Hot Tubs.
Okay.
So I worked sales, did all
Yeah.
the office admin, and I even did service work.
Okay.
for
So
them.
some sales experience
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Kind of ties in, crosses over a little.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I thought that I could be able to do both of them, but I couldn't. And also like our kids were being
Yeah.
schooled at home.
True.
So I really couldn't do
Yeah.
all three of them. So yeah.
So it gave you that chance.
Yeah.
And
And I get to stay at home and work.
create.
and create. Yeah. It's definitely an outlet for me.
It is.
Yeah.
Have you always been creative, do you think?
I have. Like when I was younger, I used to be a competitive dancer.
Okay.
Probably wouldn't look like it now, but I used to be. So again, that was a creative outlet.
Yeah.
I used to also teach. dancing.
Okay.
So, and then I would always love art. And yeah, just making soap is like, you're like painting with the material almost, right? Like it's very
Right.
abstract. That's what I
Right.
compare it to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So out of all your products, what is your favorite one to make?
I do love making cold process soap.
Okay.
But I also get very satisfied when I have this whipped soap. So it's almost like a
Yes.
lotion
Okay.
consistency. And when I pipe it into the jars, and I've taken like so many videos of that, it is so satisfying
Right.
to like fill up those jars with the piping bag.
Yes. I will let everybody know my two favorite products of yours. One, the shaving.
The shaving mousse.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely love it. Love it. Like can't say enough good things about it. And the mini bath bombs. I think
Yeah.
it is so hard to find mini bath bombs for kids, and the regular size are just too big.
And that's why I started making them, because I had parents coming and telling me like, if you can make these smaller, then that'd be so great.
I used to like take a knife and try and like break the big ones. So I'd like break little pieces off, give
Yeah.
one to each kid so that they could have a bath with it.
Yeah.
I love that. And you hand paint some of them,
I
right?
do. For Christmas time, I do these little
Okay.
frosty snowman faces.
They're so
and I
cute.
sit there with my little brush and I paint all the little faces on. And
Yeah.
it's very like, it's a lot of work, but
Yeah, a
it's
ton of
also
work.
very like therapeutic in a way.
Yeah.
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 I
What's
enjoy it.
something you wish customers knew that went into like the small business creation or like your specific creations?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, it's a lot of trial and error. It's very hard to just like say, oh, I'm going to make bath bombs for a living and then like just make it happen.
Right.
They are finicky.
Okay.
So like if it's raining out, I will not make them because even just the
Okay.
humidity difference in the air will.
So I've done like the bath bomb making kit with
Yeah.
my kid before, or like the Pinterest recipe.
Mm-hmm.
The Pinterest recipe did not work. The kit worked, but still did not stay in its shape
Yeah.
super well.
So
Okay,
like,
interesting.
yeah. So just those, it's a lot of our like research and development, right?
Yeah.
So even when I started making soap, like I probably created 40 different recipes before I finally stuck with one that worked.
Worked for you. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of research.
And then, so there's the trial and error to actually make the product work and like you feel satisfied with what you're putting out there. But then there's also a lot of trial and error with new products, right? In terms of what do people want?
Exactly.
And I feel like with Cheesy Pear, I'm constantly creating new, like I'm like, oh, this will be so great. People will love this. And you put so much time, energy, money into it. And it's like, no, people were not super into that.
Yeah.
Do you find that too?
I do with some things. Like for instance, bubble bath.
Okay.
I thought like, oh my God, people are going to love bubble bath. And like, it's
Yeah.
all handmade from scratch. And like, it just went nowhere. So then I thought like, oh, maybe I'll advertise it as like a bubble bath and body wash because it's all the same ingredients.
Yeah.
And still like
Not what people want.
not what people wanted. There's like a couple diehards that are like, oh, I love it.
Right.
But like for those few people that like it, I need like more people to enjoy it.
To make it worthwhile.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because again, it's, buying the packaging and the labels and all that stuff.
There's so much behind the scenes.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
much. I think that's another thing I would love customers to know is just like how much really goes into the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even just like
Yeah.
sourcing out ingredients.
Yeah.
And like the best price for the ingredients.
Yeah.
Like it's not just a quick Amazon purchase. It's
Yeah.
so.
Okay. So tell me about a time in business that you felt like you like made it big.
Oh my gosh.
Like sometime, I guess like 5-ish years, or where are we at? 6 years?
6, we're going on to 7.
Okay.
So I think maybe something that I was like super proud of that I did was I actually opened up a little store in my backyard. So we like converted this shed into like a soap shack. And again, this was during COVID.
Right. Okay.
And I had other vendors bring their products too. So it was like a little teeny tiny market.
Yeah.
And I think once like people actually started coming, that was when I was like this is probably the coolest moment of my
Yeah.
business was actually making this happen.
Yeah.
And then probably I would say like getting a lot of wholesale orders, like, or maybe even just like returning wholesale orders.
Yeah.
I do some like private label stuff
Okay.
for other stores in Kingston. So I think even just that, like the fact that I am the one who's creating these products for other brands is like, to me, that's
And
pretty
that's
cool.
what private label means?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you create the product, they put their name on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I kind of started following you on social media right as the store was closing.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So
So
what happened there? What did it feel like? First, what happened?
So I decided to close because I wasn't getting a lot of traffic. I'd be open a couple times a week, and for just kind of like sitting there like a little puppy, like waiting for somebody to pull in my driveway, right?
Yeah.
So which was taking away from time for doing other things. So I decided to close, and I think it's because again after COVID, things started opening up. People could travel, people could go to the mall, do whatever, right? So I just figured like I don't know, just my time was up kind of thing for that.
Yeah.
And so with not having the store open, then I could go out and do more markets.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm getting myself back out
into
there.
markets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the store closing, how did that feel?
Semi like I failed.
Yeah.
Like, when you have like, again, this big
Yeah.
plan, this big idea, and you're like, oh yeah, it's great. And then all of a sudden like, oh, maybe it's not so great. So yeah, somewhat like I failed, but I guess just like then different opportunities.
Yeah.
So it was heartbreaking because it's like a lot of money goes and invested into that, but
yeah, I think it's so crazy because I think with small businesses, and I mean, big businesses are doing this, we just don't see it. And it's like that constant pivot.
Yeah.
And that like, I'm sure you had feelings of failing.
Yeah.
But when you look back at it now, it's kind of like that had its time. You learned, I'm sure, tons from it. And then you pivot to something else.
Yeah.
And I think that's almost like the excitement in small business too, is that we're constantly trying new things. We get
changing.
Yeah. That's something I love is I think that when we are creative people, sometimes the thing that we're creative at does get a little bit boring. And it's like, for me, like making the salami rolls 5 times a day, every day, like I'm kind of over it.
Yeah.
I'm still doing it. People still love it, but I want to change it a little bit.
Right.
And so that's when we get into new things.
Yeah.
And I think that's really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So you're a big market girly now.
I am.
You're doing lots of markets?
I have been. Yeah.
Okay.
And even that, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of prep.
Yeah.
It's a lot of putting your tent up and down.
Yeah. I remember going to like, I guess specifically Christmas markets with my mom growing up and like seeing all the tables and loving that. Like I would totally want to just hang out with all these people that I'd walk by. But yeah, you don't know the work that goes in. Like the packing of the car, the like making sure you have what you need, the amount. I feel like the first market I was in, I was like, how much? Like,
oh yeah.
And you bring so much.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, maybe not that much.
My first market I did was actually at the TED Center. It was like the Loft Girls or Lofty Girls.
Yes.
So they had done a market. I want to say it was like April or May. So that was like the first market I had ever done. And I brought so much stuff because I had no idea how it was going to go. And even at that event, like I had met so many other makers and makers that I'm still friends with.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, you really do like build a bond with.
And it's a community.
Yeah, oh for
That's
sure.
probably my favorite part.
Yeah.
Like my favorite part of getting into a small business is definitely the community that you become a part of.
And it's also crazy too, like whenever you do these markets and how many people are set up, how many people have like a side hustle.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I never really thought about that before. It's like every market you go to, you're always meeting new people. It's like all these people have their own small businesses.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot out there.
A lot. And a lot of women owned.
Yeah.
It's a lot of moms.
Yeah.
It's a lot of moms. Yeah. I think that's so great. Like, yeah. We're needing that creative outlet. We're needing that extra money. We're needing, how's your family with it all?
Really good.
Yeah?
Yeah. They are huge supporters.
I think I've seen a few videos of your boys helping out here
Yeah.
and there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Cash has been helping me like basically since I started.
Okay.
There's a few things actually that he's come up with.
Really?
In like the product line. Yeah.
Cool.
And like when I get stuck on like fragrances and stuff, I'll be like, here, smell this. Like, should I do this one or this one or this one? Right. So,
Okay.
he was really good when came to like the kids stuff. He really helped with that. Riley likes to sit and draw beside me while I'm working.
Okay.
So like
Yep.
he's there. My husband will usually help do deliveries.
Okay.
Like if he's going somewhere, I'll be like, hey, can you drop off these boxes? And like
Yeah.
he's super good. But he was actually the one who like I guess helped like was an investor
Okay.
and helped me get started.
Yeah.
He gave me like $500 whenever I was getting into it and was like, get what you need to get started.
Yeah.
And like I feel like if it wasn't for him like okaying it when I first wanted to do it, then I may not have
It's
kept
so
going.
scary.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of that accidental business is such a like perfect way to start because it's so genuine and so organic in like where it comes from. And it's like, this is just something I'm trying out, something I enjoy doing, something you like really test on family. And then when a couple people are like, yeah, I want to buy that from you, I think that's when like the sparks start. Like you're like, okay, like,
maybe this
can this
yeah.
be something?
Exactly.
But then to have that support, I think there's probably like so many people that have these ideas, have something they like creating, and then maybe don't have that support or that backing to say like, yeah, go ahead, try it.
So I'm pretty fortunate too. So my husband's actually retired.
Okay.
So he did 20 years in the service.
Okay.
And actually when Riley was coming along is whenever he was getting out.
Okay.
So he's around all the time.
All right.
And even like our home life, like I'm the night owl, he's the morning bird, right?
Okay.
So he gets up in the morning, does all the stuff with the boys, gets their lunch and gets them off to school, off to the bus so I can sleep in. And then I sort of take over the afternoon. So I do the dinner, the bedtime, and then when they go to bed, I can keep working.
What a good balance.
Right? Yeah. And it was sort of like
nice.
this like thing that just happened. It's not like we said like, okay, you have to do the morning, you have to do the night. It's just sort of like how it ended up.
out.
Right? Yeah.
Wow,
so I'm really,
Yeah.
I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question about discounts and family and friends.
Oh,
I think this is a big topic with small businesses and just like family and friends. Like how do you do that? Do you have something set? So I guess what I'm talking about is like, do you discount for family and friends? Are you always gifting your own products? Do you have a set discount? Like all of that.
So my family, like they're so good. Like, they'll want shampoo bars or they'll want soap bars. And I'm just like you brought me into this world. Here you go.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like I hate to charge my mom $10 for a shampoo bar, but then they're always like, no, like here's the money.
Yeah.
When it comes to like friends, I usually end up giving them a discount or I'll be like, here, like this soap bar is wrecked from something. Like, here you go.
Right.
But if I've met you twice, then it's like I'm probably not going to give you a discount.
Yeah.
But I always have like sales and stuff online,
you
right?
do.
So like use the promo code.
Yeah.
Like pay attention to those and then you can save some.
I'm all for that. Like I think so. I have worked for other small businesses like in my teen years and stuff like that. And I actually used to get really frustrated. And I think this was like probably the beginning of my like business mind where I didn't really know that I had that. Even my dad actually had a small business and there was zero consistency with the discount. So it was like, oh, he's friends with this person. Like here, I'll give you like 15% off today.
Right.
And then like the other guy would show up 2 weeks later and he's in a good mood and he's like, you know what? Like, don't even worry about it. Like case of beer is great.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. And I just think that's a topic in small businesses.
Yeah.
Is it's like, what are we expected to give? And it's also our livelihood. And it's not even just the livelihood. It is the money that goes into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it costs money for you to create your product. And so
even that bag that you're putting the product in to leave with, is still something that you had to pay for.
Absolutely. That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's a cool one. I think everyone handles it so differently.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I handle it. I would say like, I try hard not to discount most of the time, and this is the price. And if you're my friend and willing to pay that, then that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely times that I'll kind of gift it to people if it's like something's going on and they're asking me to do. It's a little different, I guess, like depending on the business. Like I'm gifting food, so I think sometimes that's an obvious like cost associated. We all know how expensive grocery shopping is right now.
Exactly.
But yeah, I guess some of your products, that's a little bit different. And, you know, sometimes people, I think you feel a pressure. Like it's like, I'm supposed to do this for you.
Yeah. And I do like a lot of donating throughout the year too. So even like with my soap scraps or like soap things that just don't work out.
Yeah.
Like I throw it all in a box, and then usually twice a year I donate it all to the homeless.
So good.
So like even though that 20-pound box of soap, like there's probably a couple $100 worth of ingredients in there.
Yeah.
So, you know, I may not discount a friend, but
you do.
I'm also
Yeah.
trying to help out the community.
Yeah.
So there's that.
That's so valuable.
Yeah.
Okay. What's another small business in the area that you're loving right now? I know we all love all of them, but one that just right now, like I always feel like I have a new favorite for like a month period. Is there somebody that you're just like maybe is new to you that you're like, oh, I'm just loving like their business,
I've noticed like on my social media, the tens by trends.
Yes.
Yeah. I see her pop up and like all of her cute little like shirts and everything. So,
shout out, her name's Mickey.
Yeah.
Shout out because she just closed Christmas orders. She's been super busy. And then I messaged her this week and said, I have 2 massive orders for you that I need you to do before Christmas. And she did them last night for me. So
awesome.
Bless her. Yeah. What a great business. That's a really, really good one. And something so needed.
Oh, for sure.
I think that, you know, there's some other ones in the community, but they're slightly different. Their model's different. What they're actually creating is a little bit different. Love that. Love her. That's great.
Yeah.
I'll have to have her on. Okay. Another question that I had is social media.
Yes.
Let's just chat small business and social media.
So it's funny because like, so I'll be on Instagram and I'll be like flipping through people's stories and like their reels. And I was like, oh, like, you know, they look so good. I feel like I'm a minimalist when it comes to like, I might do a reel a month.
Yeah.
I try to do like my stories in the morning. But like I'll have people come up to me and they're like, oh, I love watching your stories and I love watching your reels and seeing you. And it's just like, really? Because I don't feel like I'm not present with it, you know?
Yeah.
So like it's so weird.
Do you like social media?
I do.
Okay.
I felt like before, like I had to have my makeup on and my hair done and like have like a really clean background.
Yeah.
When I first started, and it was like almost intimidating.
Yeah.
And you're comparing yourself to everyone else, right? And now it's just like I roll out of bed, I grab my coffee, my hair's in a messy bun, and I talk.
Yeah.
And people love it.
And that's your thing.
That's, yeah.
Like, I think that's the cool, as I'm sure most people know, I love social media. I know not everybody does.
Yeah.
I really do. It's such a creative outlet for me. I think
sure.
it's just such a, like, a connector. Yeah, I have lots of good things to say about social media, but I also get the challenging stuff, and I get the, like, comparison and the, like, am I supposed to be doing it this way, or getting caught up in, like, is an algorithm really that important?
Right.
Am I trying to do what somebody's telling me I'm supposed to be doing with this? But I think the awesome thing is, like, what works with social media is you being you.
Yeah. True to you, for sure. Yeah.
And it totally does. I feel like that's your thing. I watch your stories in the morning too. And I'm like, yeah, there's Jordan. Like, I know what she's going to sit here and have a chat with us while she drinks her coffee.
Yeah.
An update about the dog, the boys. Like, yeah. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So I don't like it, like, super stressed out about it. Like, I just go on and do my thing and then continue on with my day. And I don't feel like I have to be on every day either. And I know some people are, like, religious and, like, they have to be on at a certain time, or, like, scheduling their
posts and stuff like that. Yeah.
And I just don't do that. So when I've made something, I'll post about it and then continue on.
Do you feel like you kind of said that you did at the beginning, but do you feel like there's been phases throughout your like business ownership that you felt a pressure with social media? Or do you feel like you learned that pretty quickly? Like, I just got to do what works for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like I just do it on my time so that I don't feel that pressure, because like adding on extra stress on the daily is like not what I need.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I find though, like Instagram is my main platform.
Okay.
I don't do the threads or
No.
I even forgot I had that app for a
I
while.
didn't. Yeah. No.
I'm not really onto TikTok.
No.
And then everything from Instagram just goes right
over
to
to
Facebook,
Facebook.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it just makes it easy.
Yeah. But most people order through your website. All orders. Are you good at that, or are you using a little bit of all the platforms?
So everything is just off my website. And if I have wholesale orders, like they usually just email me.
Okay.
Yeah. But, I don't have any other, like, I don't think I've ever gotten orders off of Instagram.
No,
or
like people
anything.
don't DM you for an order usually, or sometimes.
If I'm selling like one-off things,
Right.
then I'll
I'm
be
like,
like,
I think I did.
Yeah,
That's how
I'll
I
be like,
first-
DM
yeah.
me for this,
Yeah.
because I'm not going to put it on the website.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I would say
Yeah.
like majority, like 90%, it's all through the website. Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite thing about being a small business owner?
That I have my own schedule.
Yeah.
If I don't want to work, I don't have to work. I really thoroughly enjoy being my own boss.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly enjoy being more present with my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably like the
Yeah.
biggest thing.
So good. Okay. And then one piece of advice, something that you feel like you really learned, or like that lesson that kept hitting you in the head kind of thing. Like, okay, I get it, universe, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like, did you have any of those? Do you feel like you have a moment like that where you're like, wow, I learned that. And that's what I would tell somebody starting out.
Probably like just giving yourself grace, like not everything's going to be a home run. And if this is something that you really want to do, then you just have to keep trying.
Yeah.
Because eventually it'll work.
Yeah.
Also, if something doesn't give you that like spark or joy and it feels like it's too much, then it's probably not the right thing to be doing.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that as I was asking the question. I was coming up with my own answer, and that's a good one.
I did.
Good.
I did do a show with another small business owner, and she did say that she was closing, and it's like, oh, like why, like, and she just said like, I'm just not happy doing it anymore.
Wow.
So it's like, yeah, that.
Yeah. I think that is something that could, like probably be a really big topic but the identity that is tied to you and your business. And like, if you had to close tomorrow for whatever reason, there's definitely like a bigger heartbreak with that. I think when you think about the identity, like we created this, and I think it's for anybody to leave any job is usually like, there's some, even if you hate your job, there's still some like feelings around that. I left my full-time job in September.
Yeah, I remember that.
There were a lot of emotions around that, just because it's like what it's kind of how you like you add a piece of your identity to that for sure. But then when it's something you create, like this is a child of ours,
Right, exactly.
like 100%.
And then it's just gone.
Yeah.
Like no more. Yeah.
So I think like in the story that you told, like that friend of yours, like being able to walk away from it, like knowing it's not actually bringing me joy anymore, that's huge.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And again, that pivoting, like I think you can, in my introduction, I mentioned like the businesses I've had in the past that really weren't, I don't consider like legitimate. I think they were like training for what I'm doing now.
It's the baby steps to it, right?
But how even those, like I feel connected to in some way. And like the one, like I won't delete the Instagram. Like I'm like still have the Instagram sitting there. I haven't posted in like over 6 years.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, but like it's a little bit of a baby to me, and I'm going to keep it there.
Exactly.
And like, yeah, there's something interesting with that for sure. Okay, so I think that kind of wraps up all the questions I had. Thank you so much for coming. But is there anything else you want to add?
No, I don't think so. But I just want to say thank you, because this is definitely like a check off my bucket list to be able to do this today.
So much fun, right?
Yeah.
And so Jordan came to the event that I mentioned in my introduction, the Coffee Community and Content event. And basically I just love getting together with other small business owners. I think that there's like such a commonality that needs to be shared. I think the small business world, while it has this amazing community, can also be really isolating because you're not going into work necessarily every day, right? And when you do have another job and this is a side hustle, they're different. Like you're going to work with different people. And so I love connecting. Yeah. I'm so glad we could talk about this. So glad we could bring up a lot of the same things and realize, that we've both got that. And I think there's just so much to learn.
It's great. It was amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And thank you for being here. I'm done. XOXO, your friendly neighborhood podcast.